50, please be my friend. You're breaking my heart.
Puff was like, so when we gonna get the chance to kick it, like we could just hang out. Why don't we go shopping? I'll pay for it. And I was like, what this just say? I got the away from him because I was like, this is
You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy.
Why are you in 50?
Hey, yo, he loves me. Y'all can't see it? Y'all can't see that he loves me? You know he loves me.
Oh, Puff's a fruit pile. This is it goes off. You see these weird ass pictures of out there, sitting out there for no reason. If you don't see accident pictures, will be like kiss.
I'll take you to the candy shop. I'll let you. Don't you stop. Keep going till you hit the
Right before we start this video, I do want to ask people to check my description bar for donations for the people in North Carolina. Currently, as of the 3rd of October, at 5:24 p.m., the death toll is in the 200 range and still counting as they continue to search for bodies. My heart goes out to all of the people. I know I only have a very small platform, but every little helps, guys. All donation links for them will be in the bottom. I will not be handling any of that myself. It will be charities and organizations that are currently helping them because the government is not helping them. The National Guard is waiting for clearance from the government to go in there and help them. A lot of people are stuck on the mountains because the roads have collapsed, and the only way to get help is helicopters, and civilians are currently the ones rescuing them. So for spooky season, you're going to see me wearing my Mad Hatter hat just because I want to, basically. So I have gone ahead and obtained the book from Kim Porter. And I'm going to read it to you guys so you don't have to buy it yourself, I guess. I don't know. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. But this video is going to dissect Diddy with the book. But we're going to start off with some recent update.
Looks like the feds were not kidding when they announced that they were going to be going after Diddy from every angle because they have moved on from his freak-offs and they are now exposing him for allegedly taking out his ops. The streets have been saying for a long time that Diddy allegedly unlives his ops, and it seems like we finally have some proof. Cassie said it in her lawsuit, Little Rod said it in his, and now the feds are claiming that Diddy allegedly tried to take out Cat Williams after Cat exposed him earlier this year on Club Shay Shay. The feds also came with some shocking receipts that exposed just how lucky Cat is to be alive, and it's wild. You already know that Cat is never shy about spilling the tea, and that's what landed him in this mess in the first place. Everything he said was next level wild, and of course, he came through with some receipts to back it all up, especially with his claims about how Diddy desperately wanted to get him in his bed. But the real question is Diddy just head over heels for a Cat like Cat claimed, or is he so down bad that he's doing whatever it takes to get to Cat? He even talk much, but when he does, y'all, he really talks. This time he spilled some crazy serious tea that had everybody gagged. He had a lot to say about Hollywood's big names like Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, and more. But the part that got everybody talking was the wild story he shared about Diddy. Like I said earlier, Cat mentioned that Diddy tried to seduce him and get him in his bed. You got to tell him no.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need another one. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But according to the streets, when Cat turned Diddy down, the man allegedly went so far as to threaten to assault him. 90s Wendy Williams was one of the few brave voices who tried to expose Diddy's alleged secret gay activities on her Hot 97 talk show. Diddy had serious power back then, and when he found out that Wendy was on to him, he didn't just sit back because he ordered the ladies from his girl group Total to try to jump Wendy and teach her a lesson.
I remember I got off the air one day and them Total bitches were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down. I wasn't yet married. My knight in shining armor screeched up in his car just out of nowhere. I didn't even know what was about to happen. Skell hiding like a girl. Thanks, Skell. I'm standing in the door like, what? And I'm literally about to go through. Now, I'm not like, what, let's fight, because I'm not one of those type of broads.
Well, anyways.
So go ahead, and grab your brew as we go ahead and dissect this heinous man. At this point, I'm starting to believe that the devil is even worried that he's coming for his job. So we all know Kim Porter. Kim Porter's Diddy's wife, the mother to the twins. And this is basically the outline of the book. You know, there was a whole thing out there about her writing a book and he killed her prior to that. So this was supposed to be the rough draft outline. So let's go ahead and read it. Now, it's not that many pages, but I will tell you if the contents of this book is real, then there's a lot to digest. But let's go ahead and get into this. It starts with a disclaimer saying that one of Kim Porter's final wishes was for this diary, this memoir diary, to be made public. Out of protection for certain parties and their potential criminal activity, some celebrity performers and events have been represented with X's due to their highly explosive natures. At some point in the future, more information will be revealed. Regarding Kim's sudden death and the mystery around Albie Shaw and Jimmy, evidence does exist that points to foul play and our poisoning. God bless Kim Porter and all of Sean Combs' victims, both male and female. Chapter 1 Introduction. Soon after high school, I started landing modeling jobs. I couldn't believe it. It was all happening so fast. I met my husband's father of my oldest child and one of my oldest friends. In my life, I'll be sure. It was a whirlwind romance. I was only 19 when we married, and no, it didn't work out. Al is still one of my best friends to this day. Our son Quincy is such a talented and wonderful young man. At that time, I had no idea that my relationship with Al was going to introduce me to the man that I would spend the better part of my adult life with, a man whom I would love and cherish, but eventually fear and hate. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I will say, although I knew what was going on, I turned a blind eye many times. Here I have to tell this truth. Unfortunately, when I met Sean, he was cool. I didn't think much of him at the time. He was just another guy at the label. Uptown was huge and we were living our best life, but Sean continued to lay on the charm. And before I knew it, we were dating. As a young single mom at one of the hottest companies in the world, life couldn't get any better. Then it did. My boyfriend was getting even bigger. Happened, okay, I was a little bit of a freak. I really enjoyed myself with my partner, and toys are one thing, but I've never imagined having a man I was dating asking me to use a toy on him. The first time he said he just wanted to experiment, try something new. I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was just curious. I was only 20 at the time. I said, what the hell? I hated it. He bled from it, and there was ish on it. I left him alone after that. Chapter 3 Second Chances. Sean kept reaching out, and I kept ignoring his calls. Eventually, in a few weeks, we ran into each other at an event. He came over and sat next to me. We were cordial. He flattered me, saying, "You look so amazing." I replied with a simple thanks, Sean. I tried to get up and leave, but he pulled my arm as I turned to him. He looked deep into my eyes and said, "Look, what happened between us was weird, but I really care about you. Can we?" He paused, and I tried to use this as an attempt to escape. I pulled my hand back and said, "Sorry, Sean, I have to go." "Please, I think I've fallen in love with you. Can we talk?" My breath was taken away. Did he say he loved me? It was so fast. I wasn't aware of this at the time, of his manipulation tactic, not yet. God, I was so young and so naive. He continued, let's have dinner. And I fell for it. 2 days later, we went out for drinks at a lounge in Lower Manhattan. The place was nice. Sean was really coming up and pulling out all the stops to impress me. He pulled the chair out for me to sit back then. He was always a gentleman. He smiled and said, Luke, as he sat across from me, I hated it. I never want to do it again. Give me another chance. Over coffee the next morning, I decided to give him another chance. For the next year and a half, things seemed pretty normal. It was fun, things were fun, and things were going great, and we were living the dream that I dreamt about throughout my youth. Sean and Clyde were working on Bad Boy, and he had his first couple of artists. He picked up Craig Mack, then some rapper from West Coast called Notorious B1 to help Chris develop. He was collaborating with the biggest names in hip hop to make it happen. Things could not be more amazing. Then he asked me to do it again. It was insane. Sean said, Baby, I can't stop thinking about it. What the hell are you talking about? I responded. Sean continued. I just can't stop thinking about that night. It was amazing. Can you screw me again? One more time, please? I became infuriated. Why don't you go to Clyde? He is the one screwing you, isn't he? Then Sean hit me. This was the first time he slapped me hard. Before I could form words, he began to beg, I'm sorry. Holding my cheek where he hit me, I turned and ran off. That should have been it, but I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. He sent flowers and a bunch of expensive gifts. Then we bumped into each other at another industry event. He sat down next to me. This was deja vu. Sean started. Imagine running into you here. Get the F away from me, I forced out. He became more serious as he said, Look, baby, I'm sorry. But I just glared at him. There is nothing you can ever say to me. Nothing. After an awkward silence, he finished. You know I love you. I love your son. He's my son. I don't know how to fix this, but I'll do anything. I'm sorry. Ish, he can be so sweet. Here we go with the love thing. This time is not falling in. He was great with Quincy, and to be honest, despite everything, I missed him. As he stood to walk away, I remembered hearing myself say, Call me later. What the F was wrong with me? Chapter 4 Forgiveness. Sean arrived with flowers in hand. He wanted to see Quincy. He was so good with him. And Quincy ran over to hug him. I felt my heart melting. He asked Quincy, How you doing, Tiger? Quincy looked so innocent as he responded, I'm good. I miss you, Sean. Sean responded, and he sounded genuine. I miss you too. We'll hang out tomorrow, okay? Okay. Sean gave him a little love tap on the butt. It's bedtime, Quincy replied, Okay, good night, as he turned towards his bedroom. He was the man I fell in love with. But what was I thinking? Ish, not only does he want butt plugs, he slapped the ish out of me. So why am I still talking to him? They said that love is blind, but is it stupid too? As Quincy laughed, Sean smiled, looked at me and smiled. Baby, let's go have some fun. The babysitter's on the way. I just want to show you a good time. I was so mad at myself for melting as I said okay. We sat on the couch laughing and generally having a good time when the doorbell rang and the babysitter was here. So we left. As we exited the house, a big man climbed out of the limo and opened the door for us. He wore a sharp suit with a gun, noticeably tucked under his arm. I thought to myself, he could have made that invisible. Or did he want me to see it? Despite my reservations, Gene was a sweetheart. He was very courteous and polite. As he tipped his head, he said, Good evening, ma'am. Gene drew a smile out of me as I responded, Hello. Gene and I would see each other a lot after this day. Chapter 5 Sean Kneels. The year passed, and thankfully we didn't have many bad arguments. Although Sean was strangely getting into voodoo, he would put curses on people, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that craziness. Now, I want you to pay attention to the fact that she said he was into voodoo and putting curses on people, because a lot of the criminal activity with him abusing people goes hand in hand with all this conspiracy that people have been saying about doing demonic sex rituals, right? We know that all of these people that made a deal with the devil are all doing all these demonic rituals. So let's go ahead and put a pause on the book and let's go ahead and watch this.
I have been screaming underwater since I was 3 months old. I went into foster care at 13, 14. We tried to do a case against Riverside County Child Protective Services because Riverside County, do you hear me? Riverside County Child Protective Services was involved in my trafficking. I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested, and I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy. P. Diddy. All right? Just the same way nobody tells on Denzel Washington. We tried to back up. We've tried to tell you everything that we can, and now we have people messaging us, investigators, people that want to talk now, when now it's because it's trending. We're still not on the subject of the kids. All the adults are covering their asses. All the adults are, I left at a certain time, yet you knew children were there. You knew these parties were not okay. They weren't freak-offs. They were satanic ritual orgies. And one of those children were me. Bullshit. You see all the people running? They're ducking and hiding because everybody knows that there was children there. But we're still not talking about the kids yet. When are we going to talk about the kids? Everybody's demanding something from the victims. Why aren't you demanding it from the news? You know he's about to turn into another Epstein, and then the list follows and it circles back into a web. So why isn't anybody demanding any information on the kids? Do you think that thousands of bottles worth of baby oil was for thousands of who? $65,000 worth of hot dogs and pizza was for who? Trafficking over the border was for who? Child Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody going to talk about that? Everybody that you love, you don't live in the world you think you do. Everybody that you think is not guilty is about to show you who they really are. I've been screaming for years. So now, if you see me over here trying to live a normal life and tying up loose ends as justice, mind your fucking business. Or don't. We were followed the night that Diddy was arrested. I left a place that I was in, minding my own business, finally trying to stop for a second and get my life back. And you know what? I'm not even upset about that. I'm upset about the fact that I have to walk back into this place and I have to tell you all goodbye. So if you know who I am and you know me as Justice, you know I'm about to walk into this building and tell you I gotta go. Nobody ever thinks about the victims. Nobody. We're not talking about the victims that are still going through the shit right now with other people who are running to cover their ass and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. We got legal evidence to drop. I just don't know what's the point. Yeah, I was at a Diddy party. I was one of the party favors. But I told you, nobody tells on Diddy. Maria Z, I did that interview in 2021, 7 months ago. We made sure, I already knew, that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested. I already knew that 7-8 months ago. Because everybody was so busy talking, bouncing to their music. Didn't I tell you, music is a diary? Are you now figuring that out? They're telling you what they did. The music, it's telling you what they did. The comedy and the art is a reflection of life. I got a reflection of life for you. And if you're trying to come towards me right now thinking that, hey, maybe she'll testify against what?
I don't trust none of y'all.
Testify against who? Testify against the same corrupt justice system that's not doing a damn thing for anybody?
Let's be clear. You federal prosecutors, you have video surveillance from Diddy's house from 2008. Look in that 2008, 2010 span, you'll find her video there. You want to send it? Send it over? She'll say, yeah, that's me. Then you can do what you can do, but otherwise we're not messing with you. I don't trust none of y'all.
My bones will never be the same. My heart will never be the same. My soul will never be the same, but I'm still sitting here. So I'll still continue to try to do what I can do. To be a voice for my friends that are no longer here and for the kids who don't have a voice right now while everybody is too busy running towards the adults. Everybody, no, not that black man. No, that can't be true. No, he can't be having satanic rituals. No, there's no way. Yeah, there is. And now you see. So now what you gonna do about it?
They paid homage to certain sacrifices and homage to certain idols. And on the third day, they would drink, party, be merry, and the men would have with each other.
I thought Cat Williams was done exposing Hollywood after all the backlash he received following his Club Shay Shay appearance. Well, Cat just proved once again he doesn't care about any type of backlash and's back at it again, dropping truth bombs about Hollywood in another explosive interview. This time he made an appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast and made a series of shocking claims about the entertainment industry, including rumored Baphomet rituals, and explained how Hollywood is one huge propaganda machine. What's
feel about the ritual? It's about, does following the ritual work?
So in Hollywood. So Kat was talking about how the entire entertainment industry is one giant propaganda machine and how the entertainment part is only there as a distraction.
Whole industries can be built upon your ability to know how certain things are going to hit certain people. And this was before we called things promotion and marketing. You know what I mean? That's... Hollywood is not really there to entertain you. Like, that's great that that happens, but propaganda is something that is important to all civilizations.
Now, this is not a new or controversial idea. For example, it's been known for years that the CIA and other government agencies are closely intertwined with Hollywood, mainly to spread pro-military propaganda and legitimize war. TV shows like Homeland, Recruit, and The Agency, and blockbusters such as Oscar-nominated Zero Dark 30 are all backed and promoted by the CIA. In fact, according to an investigation by Deadline, the CIA and Pentagon helped with the script for Zero Dark 30, a movie that essentially justifies inhumane interrogation methods to capture enemies.
Graphic scenes of prisoners being tortured by American operatives and eventually providing key intelligence leading to the raid. That never happened. Even the CIA and proponents of torture admit that waterboarding and physical abuse did not get them to bin Laden. Other means of intelligence gathering did.
As Deadline reported, the CIA and the Pentagon both have offices dedicated solely to approving and shaping scripts so that they are portrayed favorably. So yeah, what Kat said about Hollywood being a propaganda machine is far from a conspiracy theory. However, he then went on to say something else about alleged Baphomet rituals, which he connected to the whole dress-wearing controversy in Hollywood. For context, Baphomet is a demonic figure who appears in occult and folkloric traditions and is supposedly worshipped by the members of the Knights Templar. Since the 19th century, Baphomet is typically represented as being composed of binary elements, half human and half animal, half male and half female, good and evil, etc. And then more recently, some Christian activists have started claiming that Baphomet is a symbol representing the alleged trans agenda.
One of the ancient images of Satan is Baphomet.
Yeah.
Okay, what is Baphomet? So he's got the goat head, he's got the women's torso with the breasts, and the man's down below. So that's not a new thing.
And now check out what Cat Williams said about the rumored Baphomet rituals in the entertainment industry.
Everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is. So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I was a prophet. It's just I had gotten so much information that I understood that things are secular. So I understood that the earliest I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ass ring.
Really?
And it said both of those things. So I knew that both of those things will become popular in the future. And that somehow calling people the goat would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference.
Now, a lot of people just laughed off Cat's comments, saying whatever he's smoking must be good. However, others are convinced there's some truth to his comments about Hollywood rituals. And now some folks are connecting this to the rumors about Diddy allegedly being involved in some type of dark rituals. In fact, people are saying those FO sessions that were mentioned in Cassie's lawsuit, and more recently in the lawsuit filed by Diddy's former producer Rodney Jones, are not just some wild parties, but carefully orchestrated rituals. You might recall how Cassie described in her lawsuit that Diddy would plan the FO sessions in detail, even going so far as to arrange candles in a specific way. According to Cassie, Diddy would also make her and other participants wear some type of a mask, and he would record the whole thing on camera. One fan on X said, the way it was described in the lawsuit about Diddy filming Cassie on multiple devices, adjusting the candles and wearing masks while she was, sounds like some S-cult ritual-ish. I think he was filming to show other rich elites. Also, it's interesting that a few months before Cassie's lawsuit dropped, celebrity medium Sloan Bella went viral after sharing a video on her YouTube channel, claiming that a lot of these powerful industry men harvesting their energy during these rituals with young people. Sloan Bella alleged that Diddy's ex-girlfriend Kim Porter witnessed some type of disturbing rituals at Diddy's parties, and she was allegedly planning to expose this in her book.
What she witnessed, and they are dumbing it down to the fact that they think that P. Diddy is on some kind of spree for removing people who speak about this because he's gay. There are gay people, but what we're talking about here is ritualistic deviancy used to harness energy of a human being. Ritualized, thought out, planned specifically to rip the person down and hide behind their energy.
Sloan Bella also mentioned Justin Bieber as someone who might have had that happen to him, and she alleged that's why Justin appears so broken these days.
Bieber was famous as a teenager and all of that. How do you think he got that way? Because they harnessed his energy and presented him while him, the self, is broken. He is broken and a shell of himself because he has lost his sense of self. They stole that.
And since Diddy used to hang out with Justin back in the day, a lot of people started saying that Sloan Bella might be onto something.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
Besides this, there was this photo that Diddy posted and later deleted sitting in front of amethyst crystals and burning sage while wearing a Biggie Smalls shirt. And then some fans have also started speculating that Diddy practices some type of witchcraft after he got this giant tattoo on his back, which supposedly represents Azili Dantor, a goddess and senior spirit in Haitian voodoo. He organized for Cassie, where he forced her to have S with black male escorts, is proof of that. This was ritualistic, probably a blend of S magic and humiliation rituals. Biggie must have been a blood sacrifice too. And another person wrote, you can't worship the Baphomet and not do the things they do. All the dirty ritualistic things they get up to are a form of worship. But what's...
Let's get back into this book. The only thing is with me being a single mother is I wanted to be married. He always had excuses and delays when it came to committing to marriage. His label was blowing up. Let's get back into this book. The only thing is with me being a single mother is I wanted to be married. He always had excuses and delays when it came to committing. He dropped and it was just about over. He also signed Mary J. Blige, and of course, when I found out he slept with her, we fought. He claimed it was a mistake. And I'm his stupid ass took him back again. And Sean asked me for a threesome with her. At first, I was mad, but Mary's beautiful. It was our first threesome, and I loved it. Mary was sexy. I would not be doing this a lot, but it was so hot. I was young and exploring my sexuality. It was enticing. Over the years, we brought other women into our bedroom periodically, and we were happy. This was until one day I came home to a situation that went from awkward to a nightmare. Quincy was with the babysitter, and Sean was sitting with Albie at the dinner table. I had a child with Al. Sean was a father in Quincy's life. The awkwardness of all of this, us being together, had dissolved a long time ago. But it was still weird that they were here in my home together alone. I sat down and we had drinks. It was fun, the conversation was cool until it wasn't. Al was a little loose after a couple of drinks. I remember him saying, "It's still weird seeing you and my friend, but you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys." Sean responded, "Thanks, man. Me and you, we share so much." I replied coolly, "Word." The conversation took an odd and awkward turn when Sean said, "We've all been together sexually, but not together." I was shocked for a moment. As quietness lingered in the room, I asked, "What do you mean by all together?" Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. "You know how we sometimes invite other people into our bed?" I couldn't believe it. "Oh, hell no, Sean. This is my son's father." What Al said was mind boggling. "I don't know. It could be kind of hot. I miss you in that way." Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this, the truth was, I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. I just didn't want it messing up my relationship. And if things became awkward, how would that affect Quincy? So I asked, "Are you both sure?" I imagined both of them inside me. I knew this would be awkward sexually. There would be some bumping of genitals, but what happened next I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. Al, and then it's X'd out, so I don't know what Al did, because remember, she X's things out when it's a certain level, I guess. So we don't know what Al did. I couldn't believe it. I stood there in shock. But when I saw Sean, I ran out the room. This is too much. I couldn't. Sean called onto me. "Ah, come on, Kimmy." They didn't chase after me. And then it's X'd out again. So it looks like Al took the initiative. Let's go on. I couldn't get the image out of my mind. I couldn't be with Sean for a while. But that wouldn't be the last time I saw Sean in a compromising position. Not by a long shot. One day I found the vault where he kept all his encounters with men. Yes, he kept a record of it, but that's for later. Chapter 6. Pac. Biggie took over East Coast hip hop, and Sean was a brilliant mind that orchestrated it. He hired people to teach Chris how to flow and write his lyrics. He hired the best producers to do the beats, although he took the credit for them. And the music was unstoppable at this point. Sean was sleeping with all the power players, and everyone that wanted to do music wanted to be a bad boy. Sleeping with all the power players. Okay. Wow. All of them. Sean wheeled and dealed in a way that would have been unthinkable to many. He slept with the guys that really control the music to stay on top, and a lot of the names average people have never heard of. These are the guys that make the decisions on who was winning and who was not. He hosted parties that were just a fancy name for orgies, and everybody wanted in. When I met Tupac, Sean and I had an open relationship. Yes, I slept with Pac. Ish, he was sexy. Sean didn't mind, well, not until he tried to get Pac to join both of us. Pac was not good with that. This is where the relationship between them became strained. Tupac wasn't going to accept Sean's advances. Pac wasn't gay, and he was pissed about the advances. We were all in Sean's house. I was drinking, there was smoking, and everyone was just relaxing. Sean came in on what I am sure he would call a smooth approach. My baby is bad, isn't she? Pac threw me a sly smile. Hell yeah. I felt myself blush. Sean was now in full swing. You think you hit it better than me? I couldn't believe he disrespected me that way. I wasn't playing with my response. Sean, what the F? Pat came to my defense. Damn, bro, you ain't gotta do the sister like that way. Tupac appeared upset behind Sean's wounds, but Sean went in for the kill regardless. I think my dick's bigger than yours. I bet I can make her come faster than you. What's up? Pac was appalled. What the F are you talking about, Ann? I ain't trying to run no effing train, Sean continues. What you scared of? Let's see who F's better. Let her be the judge. Yes, at this point we had been inviting others into our bedroom for a while, but I'm not used to and will not stand for disrespect. I wasn't the only one upset. Pac shouted, Ann, you talking about pulling your effing dick out? Sean was undaunted. What, you scared? Tupac simply left. Things were contentious since then. The two could not be in the same room. Pac avoided me as much as he did Sean. When they did bump into each other, the tension was palpable. It felt like blows could be thrown at any moment. Months passed with only detention between them. It was uncomfortable, but nothing life or death. Then one day when we were in the studio, it happened. I walked into Sean's office and he was having the conversation. Sean sat across from Jimmy Henchman and said, Pac, don't leave that effing studio alive. I didn't think I was supposed to hear it. I continued as if I didn't. Hey, Sean, good morning. Jimmy, they didn't seem to think I heard anything. I'm ordering breakfast. Smiley Sean replied first. Let me get eggs sunny side up with grits and orange juice. I could see he was hungover. Good. I don't want him knowing I know anything. If he just put a hit on Pac, knowing something could be dangerous, Jimmy, apparently not hungry, said, Nothing for me as he stood to exit the room. He said, Sean, let's make that happen. Then nodded to me and said, Cam, always a pleasure, with a wink to me and a nod to Sean. He turned and walked out. Jimmy was a part of our intimate circle. I went on as if nothing was happening. I'll make the call now. I smiled as I left, hoping I wasn't white as a sheet. I wasn't in the studio that night. Pac arrived being shot, thank God. From what I understood, Sean and Chris saw Pac in the studio after he'd been shot and did nothing. The way God works, after being shot, Pac made it to the elevator and tried to escape, but it stopped at the floor Sean and Chris were on. When the doors opened, they saw him lying on the elevator floor, riddled with bullets in a pool of his own blood. The fact that they didn't call an ambulance, although Pac was lying there swimming in a pool of his blood, that would be all the evidence Pac ever needed. He, of course, assumed they placed a hit, and Tupac is a soldier. This is not something that will be unanswered. Pac didn't do well. He lost his testicle, but he survived. It was orchestrated, and Sean Puffy Combs was the orchestrator. Chapter 7. Threats. At this point, I knew I had to get away from him, but I was scared. He was going to take my life if I tried to escape. One February evening, I thought I found my opportunity at Diddy. After an event, we were at a ritzy restaurant in a private booth. It was an exclusive setup. We were alone, but we were in public. Perfect. Sean was on the phone talking to an unknown listener as he sat down. His words on that call will be etched into my mind forever. We're going to release who shot you now. He waited for a response, then went on to say, of course they don't think Big was talking about Pac. That's the whole effing point. Nobody would give a F about a diss track against LL effing Cool J. Do you know how much money we'll make with this kind of rap beef? Ends battling after somebody really got shot? This may not be the best time for this conversation. Sean was finishing up. We drop that shit tomorrow. He listened to the phone, then responded, there's gonna be blood in the streets. Ends going miss Pac's alive. Let's capitalize on that shit. When he responds, let's capitalize on that ish. It's just gonna mean more money. He turned around and looked at me, spoke back to the phone. I'll call you back. Then hung up and spoke to me. What's wrong? I tried my best to fake a smile at what I heard. After all, me and Pac were intimate. I responded, nothing. Sean was a fool. Are you sure? His demeanor was threatening. But I responded as cool as I could muster to his intimidation. Stare. Yeah, of course. He took my hand, saying that's wonderful. He began to squeeze my hand as it hurt, and he continued, because seeing you walking into the office while I was talking about killing that mother effer and you not saying ish to me had me just a little concerned. His grip was starting to hurt badly. You're hurting me. As he continued, he squeezed tighter. Your pretending you didn't hear anything was a sign of your loyalty to me, not something I should be concerned with, right? I had no choice but to give him my answer he wanted. I knew I was trapped when I responded, of course, I'm loyal to you. He let me go as he responded, good, and remember, I'm the big dick. I snatched my hand back in pain, and he smiled and said, let's start with a good wine. He snapped his fingers, and his favorite wine was poured for him. They knew what Sean wanted, and what he wanted he got. I'm trapped. Now wasn't the time for me to launch my escape plan. I need to be strategic. It's going to be hard to leave the glamour, the glitz, the lifestyle, and I mean, this man just snapped his fingers and one of the most exclusive restaurants in New York City, and they pour his drink of choice. The bottle of wine is $800, and this is in 1994. The list to get in this place is 6 months long, if you are somebody. Mayor Giuliani has a table here tonight also. If I got up and walked off, I would be safe, but what about tomorrow? I had to think. He sipped his wine and smiled. You're not drinking? He pointed at my glass, and of course a waiter filled it. They knew what I liked as well. Sean has a bad temper. He yells sometimes, and okay, he's roughed me up once or twice. But he never punched me, he never bruised me, and he never hit Quincy. I would not have stood for that. He never laid a hand on my son at that time. I never thought of him touching Quincy in any way. Then the significance of what he said hit me. Is he mad at Tupac over me? I'm the big dick? Oh my god. The last time he put his hands on me, it was because I enjoyed Jamie Foxx too much. Ish, he enjoyed Jamie too. He gets so insanely jealous, it's not fair. He wants to bring other men into the bedroom, but gets jealous when he does. Damn, you're quiet tonight, he says, snapping me back into the present. I asked a question that was burning in my mind since I walked into that office. What does Chris think of this? He looked at me coolly and said, his fat ass better just keep doing music. A third guest was escorted over by security. Sean motioned for him to sit. A waiter walked over to Sean Carter and asked, would you like something? Carter responded, no thank you. Then he said hello to me. I replied, "Hey, Carter," and took a sip of my drink. The Seans may share a bed together from time to time, but thankfully I was never asked to join. Carter went on to speak to Sean. "I thought we were meeting in private." Sean replied with a nonchalant shrug. "I had to discuss something with her. It's fine, go ahead." He wielded this kind of power. Carter shifted uncomfortably in his chair before continuing. "It's true. Chris and Pac were about to start their own label." Sean slammed his fist against the table, shouting, "Doesn't anyone have any effing loyalty?" Carter, "Well, that's not happening now, right?" Sean peered at Carter with distrust. "Why the F are you so eager to share this with me? Chris is your man. F, he brought you on. You're stabbing him in the back?" Carter responded with indignity. "First, I'm tired of being that end's son. I need to come out from under his damn shadow." Sean smiled slightly. "Okay, I respect that." Carter kept going. "On top of that, this is Anna's making that move, and it should have been with me." Sean looked at Carter blankly. "Pac put Chris on. You know this. What's this really all about, Carter? Don't effing try to play me." The Jay-Z of today wasn't born yet. This young Sean Carter was in over his head. He had to spill it out. "I want his spot. Ambition. Now this is a man I can work with." Sean made a grandiose gesture towards Carter. "Wait to get this MF or whatever he wants." Carter smiled. "Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Honesty and ambition, we're going to make a lot of bread together." Carter ordered a drink as he stated again. "Guess he won't be leaving with that end to do their own label now," Sean responded with his normal air of arrogance. "Why don't you let me worry about that?" I took this as my cue to escape. I told Sean I'm going to go ahead and get back to Quincy. Sean was wrapped up in his conversation with Carter and barely noticed as he excused me. "Have the limo drop you off. I didn't eat, I didn't care. I smiled and kissed him on the cheek and left. Chapter 8, Kadada. Kadada Jones was an actress, model, and designer and was the fiancée of Tupac and the daughter of record producer Quincy Jones and actress Peggy Lipton. Being around other celebrities was just a part of life. Meeting Kadada was just one of those events, and as time went on, we became close. We hung out together, we went shopping, and so on. It was just about the same time I met Kamara. Those were the days, or so I thought. We always had girl talk, and the fact that she was dating somebody I had previously been with wasn't a source of contention. We didn't get jealous of each other, it was just girl talk stuff. And no, I did not become intimate with Kadada. Kamara was too jealous for that. Yes, Kadada knew about Kamara, Sean, and I all being together sexually. Of course she did. We shared that kind of thing. We were open and honest with each other about almost everything, a true friendship, except I couldn't be open and honest about everything. Not anymore. Sean made sure of that. Kadada and Pac were the greatest couple. He was always so cool and, yes, sexy. She was so beautiful and fun. Before all the tension and beef, we all used to hang out together. It was always dope vibes. But with all the suspicion surrounding Sean and Jimmy, the vibes began. Kadada and I were always perfect. Weren't always perfect. Then came that night. Award shows weren't anything new for us at this point. We dolled up as men, groomed. We didn't choose what we wore. A stylist prepared our color palettes. A makeup artist did our makeup, and a hairstylist did our hair. This was just the way of things. We shared the best stylist in the business. Sometimes we would all go to the studio for an event to get our measurements taken. But this time, Kadada seemed different. I felt like something was wrong, but when I probed her, she wouldn't say anything. Then the day of the event was here. We would all see each other inside. Even though Sean was my man, As far as props, I had nothing on Kadada. Being Quincy Jones's daughter had perks, superstardom was among them. Pac wasn't there. When she saw us, she came over to our table. We sat around kicking it in a very dope vibe. Sean knew he was going clean up this award show. He had all but taken over the East Coast musically. With all the hits, there really was no way he wouldn't. Bad Boy is Hall of Fame stuff now, and Sean P. Diddy Combs knew it. He smiled at Kadada as she sat at our table, but something about that smile didn't seem authentic. Soon I would know why. He's sick when he has a grudge against someone. As he sat, Sean said, Bad Boy's gonna clean the F up. From his table with Faith, Chris replied, Hell yeah. And that new ish we busting out, go and have these ends sick. Kadada single for the waiter to pour her a glass of ginger ale that sat over her table. As the waiter refreshed her drink, she said, Pac's music's go and get some love too. Sean grimaced. Oh, come on, Sean. I know you'll got your differences, but you have to admit the man makes great music. Sean looked at me out of the corner of his eye, then took another sip of his favorite cognac, and replied, Bad Boy got the hottest music on the effing planet. But I ain't tripping. Everybody got to get their shine, right? Kadada sighed. Tupac thinks you were involved with him getting shot. You two were so close. You need to make this right. Sean responded indignantly. What the F would that N think I had anything to do with it? Kadada retorted. Sean, can you blame him? Sean was obviously not happy with that question by his reply. Hell yeah, blame him. We had a good thing going. All of us. That N turned on me. He has the effing balls to blame me for his shooting. The indignity he managed to spew out while lying through his teeth was something I did not expect. I was thrown back for a moment before interjecting. Do we have to do this tonight? It's Sean's big night. Kamara heard the ruckus and made her way over to our table as well. She sat down and said, Hey, everybody, with that big dimple smile. I smiled and replied, Hey. Kadada also seemed happy to see her as she said, Hey, what's up? Hey, what up, Kamara, never the type to hold her tongue, went straight to it. The whole place is buzzing with the fact that you're sitting here, accusing Sean of having Pac shot. You're kinda loud. She laughed. Kadada seemed embarrassed as she looked around to see everybody staring and whispering. But she was about to back off. In fact, she doubled down. Anybody here not talking about it ain't real anyway. Honey, we don't have to do this here. Kadada made clear she was not to be silenced as she continued. Oh, let's not hurt the feelings of Sean Puffy Combs. He only had one of the most prolific rappers in the game shot. Sean clenched his hand into fist. If this was anybody else, this would have turned ugly. But this was Quincy Jones's daughter. Sean was a monster in the streets, well feared by men that knew, but he did not want any of the smoke what Quincy Jones could bring. Kadada could continue with impunity. Sean could not torture. Christopher and Mary both wanted to defend the super producer that made them famous. Both started to stand and make their way over the table, but Sean signaled them off with a firm motion of his hand. They remained in their seats, watching helplessly. Kadada seemed to be on full rampage. You're not safe from the streets, Sean. You think you're untouchable? Kimura seemed almost red in the face when she grabbed Kadada by the hand, saying, I gotta go to the restroom. Kadada, not willing to stop, snatched her hand away, yelling, Let go of me. Kamara needed her to get a grip and said sternly, speaking to a child mid tantrum, Die. Kadada turned to her and yelled, What? Kamara nodded towards the crowded room. Kadada looked around. Here she deflated slightly. Kamara, now in control, spoke firm, but softly. Let's go powder our nose. Kadada nodded with a grimace and gave a sharp look back at Sean as she walked away. As the tension slowly melted away, I asked Sean, Are you okay? He didn't reply at first. He looked around and saw nobody was really paying attention. Now that the ruckus had died down, he stood to get the pitcher of ginger ale from Kadada's table. He pulled himself a drink from it, looked around again, saw no one was paying attention, and put the pitcher under the table. What was he doing? Then I heard the distinct sound of liquid being poured into liquid. Oh my god. Is he peeing in the pitcher? He smiled at me as he brought the pitcher back from under the table. I finally replied, I'm good. He then stood and returned the pitcher to the table. I was in awe. I knew he had a bad temper, but this was disgusting. I'll never eat or drink something after we have an argument again. Kadada and Kamara made their way back to Kadada's table to sit, as Sean watched on quietly. Sean made small talk. Which songs do you think they'll give me awards for? As Kadada poured her drink, Sean's bodyguard made his way over to the table. I think he stopped her drinking as everyone else just sat and watched. Jean risked incurring Sean's wrath. Relieved, I replied, Babe, your catalog is crazy. It could be a lot of songs. Sean glared at Kadada's table the entire night. Going back to Cali, Chapter 9. We had a wild night. It was after one of Sean's infamous parties. Everybody was there, and not only did we have 3 songs, but we also swapped partners. Our sex life was crazy, but I got to do things with Sean I would never have been able to do with a straight man. He cared about me, but it became more and more obvious that he preferred men. I was beginning to think I was more there to cover his wild desires than because he really wanted to be with me. He was like Caesar, every woman's man and every man's woman. But truthfully, at that stage, I was becoming okay with it. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was with Jada Pickett, and Sean happened to be coming out of the bedroom with It's X'd Out and Will Smith. Our XX attended the parties from time to time. I could see him and Will snuggled up on the bed together. I was grateful I wasn't asked to join in that room I didn't really like, and the name is X'd out again. Sean smiled when he saw me. Good morning. Orage, he was not very affectionate. He didn't have to pretend, but he couldn't walk straight. I knew how his ass felt, literally. We had sessions playing with each other's anal cavities. I wanted to be home before Quincy woke up, so I told him, I'm going to get ready. He responded, let's have a cup of coffee first. This meant he wanted to talk. I didn't know what it was about, but in situations like this, I didn't really have a choice. He was becoming more violent when he didn't get what he wanted, and I didn't really want to fight. So I sat down. Before we started talking, XXX came out of the room. Sean was wearing boxers. X was in his birthday suit. X addressed me. Morning. When he turned around in order to close the door, it was a drag cum stain on his back. X looked over and pulled his chair up to sit down next to us and lit up a blunt. I really want to know who this X is. I think I know who it is. Sean stretched a smile and said, this East Coast, West Coast beef is more lucrative than I thought, but it's getting dangerous. X responded surprised. Business first thing in the morning? Damn, 'cause you want it. But you know you don't got nothing to worry about. You got a pass, Daddy. X smiled coyly. Sean apparently had something to talk about with X as well, because he said, I can't protect everybody, especially if someone is no longer going to be on my label. It was apparent X wasn't taken aback by this turn of events by his reply. Sean, are you saying what I think you're saying? Sean continued. It's taxing on my resources to protect people. Someone that isn't 100% on my team can't be 100% of my protection. What the hell is going on here? What does Sean want from me? This money is turning out to be way more than I expected. I have to go. Quincy will be looking for me. Meanwhile, X apparently wanted clarity. So to be clear, if something happened, X made quotation with his fingers to one of your artists that was leaving your label anyway, it will be considered he makes another set of quotations marks out of your control. Is that what you're saying? Wait a minute, can he be talking about Biggie? Is Sean saying he won't protect Biggie? At this point, I was too young, too naive, too hungover to understand that this was not a lack of protection. This was a hit. Where did this come from this morning? But an older wise in me understands now. What I did not comprehend all these years, Sean was just getting to the real reason that he had X there. The world was about to lose Biggie. X laughed. You a cold mother ever. Sean said, why the F should I protect someone that isn't going to stick around? I made him. That end should be worshipping the ground I effing walk on. I was thinking Sean's ego is rearing its ugly head, and I wanted to get out of there, but instincts told me that I needed to tread carefully. So my next move had to be calculated. I don't really want any parts of this, not even implicitly, but I was just dragged right into the middle of it. If what was happening here ever comes out, will I be held as an accomplice? Even as those thoughts crossed my mind, I couldn't just pretend this was okay. So I said, but show him he hasn't left yet. They're just rumors. Are you going to let him die because of some rumors? Sean glared at me, and the anger in his voice obviously stemming from hurt, as he said, I know when I'm being betrayed. I'm not killing anyone, but I'm not protecting somebody who doesn't have my back. 150%. F that. This was rolling out of control, and my mind began to race. Is that a way to get through to him? Maybe I could use the finance route. Sean, he's bringing in so much money. He put so much money into cultivating him. Are you going to throw away all that money? That's when he revealed how thought out this meeting really was. If he leaves, he takes all the money I invested in creating him, Sean says. But if he can't protect himself and something terrible does happen, then the money I would make off his death would blow away. All the money we made so far. I was perplexed. Sean, he continued, he's worth more to me dead than alive. Sean Combs is a calculating monster. X chimes in. I get that, fam. A lot of people out there want Biggie dead. Without your protection, he doesn't stand a chance in Cali. Biggie is going to die. This is crazy. I dare not say anything else about it. I told you, I think I know who X is. I think I know who it is. But Sean smiles and stands to walk over to behind a picture. There he pulls out a bag marked with X's name. He turns to X and says, that's why you're worth your weight in gold. You understand me? Here's a little something for you to take care of my people. X smiles. Sean, I love you, baby. You know I got your back. Your problems are my problems. I'll make sure to have my people take care of your people. I need to get out of here. This is crazy. I attempted to leave again. Sean, I want to go get Quincy before he wakes up. Sean looked at me, responding, it's getting late. Give him a kiss for me. I'm going to get out of here. Thank God. X always with something to say. I'd love to meet the little tyke sometime. Not a chance in hell. Something about this guy creeps me out. I forced a smile. That would be great. I made my exit. Chapter 10. The Lies You Tell. At this point, the relationship between Sean and I had been off and on for quite a while, and we were off at this point. He had put his hands on me again, this time for something that didn't even happen. It was all in his head. When the phone rang, I picked it up anyway. Hi, Sean. We've been broken up for a while this time. Yeah, he continued. I don't want anybody to know about my, he paused for the search for the right words, proclivities. I replied, so you don't want people to know about you being gay? Sean exploded. See, that's why I effing lose control on you. So I just plainly stated, goodbye, Sean. Wait, he screamed. What, Sean? I'm sorry, okay? You're always effing sorry. He took a deep breath. I have to do something to cover myself, I sighed. Do whatever you effing want, Sean. When you see this in the news, it's not real. This made me calm down a moment. What could he be talking about? He continued, I'm only doing it for the press. Doing what, Sean? After a long pause, he continued, she knows what this is. She is just pretending to cover me. Sean, what the hell are you talking about? Another pause, but publicly I'm going to be dating someone else. A video girl, I laughed. Why would you do that? I had to cover myself. I was getting mad. I was actually angrier at myself than him. Why was I getting jealous? I was sitting there actually comparing myself to video vixens in my mind. They are thick, but look at my body. Does he prefer some light skinned big butt girl from videos? I calmed myself. No. I know he likes a man any damn way. As I regained control, I asked, why the hell are you telling me? He said, I wanted you to find out from me first, like I give a ish. He came at me with his favorite line, you know I love you. It was getting old. I could only think to myself, here we go. Love is a big, strong word. I'm tired of him throwing it around and using it when it fits his needs. He's using it while he's sitting here telling me about dating somebody else. I replied, you don't hit people you love, Sean. Love doesn't hurt. He sucked his teeth as he responded, come on, are you serious? That shit's for children. We aren't in effing high school. Sometimes things happen. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I wouldn't hate you if I didn't. Wait. That sounded wrong. You said exactly what you meant. He took a breath. There was an awkward silence. The fact I was still on the phone and waiting for him to speak meant he had the power. He was more cautious as he continued. He didn't want to lose that power. Kim, no one that I don't care about can bring that kind of emotion out of me. I wanted to say, is that how you talk to dudes after using butt plugs? But there is a line I dare not cross. Instead, I said, you say that while you're dating some other itch. That's just for public. I was done. I'm never giving up on us, he cried. I responded to that emotional control attempt with a little resolve I could muster. I didn't even believe the words that came tumbling out of my mouth. Sean, there is no us anymore. Goodbye. Tell Quincy I miss him, he threw in. Okay, guys, we are almost at that hour mark, so we are halfway through the book. So this is going to be a two-part series with some little mix in there. But we are going to start chapter 9 in our next video. I'm going to try and get it out before the following Monday, but it is, I know, one video was late because it's my daughter's birthday, but it's about to be my son's birthday next weekend. So I will probably post the second part as soon as I get a chance to sit down and record. But go ahead and like and subscribe, and please join us for part 2 with the second part of this book. Thank you, guys.